We're here with Kaytee Buhler and the Community Engagement Coordinator for Bread for Success. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, so what is Bread for Success?
Bread for Success is an after-school homework help and nutrition program that runs twice a week in the community of Meadow Green. And it's been going on now. We're just finishing up our third year. And it was started by, so I actually work for the Mennonite Central Committee. And MCC has been working in the community of Meadow Green for over a decade, close to 14 years.
I didn't know that. So why did you pick that area specifically?
It's an area of the city that back 14 years ago was one of the more underserved neighborhoods of the city. It had limited access to things like education, limited access to things like healthy food options, medical facilities, different things like that. And it's also an area of the city where many new Canadians start life and move there. There's a number of apartment buildings and single-family dwellings as well, so it's a mixed neighborhood. For the program that we were working with there was predominantly the refugee settlement program.
Okay.
And one of the women that was working with the program started to notice when she was going into the neighborhood that there was just a lot of children hanging out and that there wasn't a lot for those children to do because there was no space, there was no public space for people to gather outside of their homes because there was no school or community center, that sort of stuff.
So do you have a building there, or was there school, or how do you?
Well, so 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, W.P. Bay Community School opened up. But at the time that we were starting to work there, there wasn't anything there. And so the person who was working for MCC began to notice that there were a lot of kids going about, not having much to do, and just started to ask questions like, why is this happening, and what can we do to provide space for children to be safe. And so she started to show up with toys and games and once a week and hang out with the kids. And then from that first initiative, Appleby Kids Clubs opened up, and we managed to secure an apartment, a small 3-bedroom apartment in one of the apartment buildings along Appleby Drive. And now we've been running a Wednesday night kids club program out of that apartment building since 2004.
Oh, that's wonderful. And that's why I wanted to have you on my show, because you rock, you saw a need, and you engaged that need, and you're developing it. So tell us how students can come, or how people can come to your program.
Well, the program is really based on partnership, and we partner a lot with the school now that's there, with the church, Meadow Green House for All Nations that's there, and also with the families that live in the neighborhood. Because Meadow Green is such a diverse neighborhood, there's many new Canadians that call it home, there's many Indigenous families that call it home, and many non-Indigenous settler background families. We really work with the families themselves, and a lot of the publicity, I guess, that happens in the neighborhood is all word of mouth. And so we talk to a few families, we talk to a few kids, we talk to the principal at the school, and then the kids learn about the programs, and then they show up. It's all drop-in. We've tried to do registrations, but the nature of the work just kind of, you can't really guarantee who's going to be there on a weekly basis. But
well, I often feel that the grassroots projects are the best, because it's something that is vital and people need it. So are you the coordinator in that program, or you just oversee the whole program?
So the Meadow Green, Bread for Success falls underneath our Meadow Green programming with MCC. And I coordinate the Meadow Green programming, and then the Tuesday and Thursday days that we have Bread for Success, which is the homework help, and then we do the nutrition program.
So it's twice there's 3 days a week that you have this program?
There's 3 days, there's 2 days a week for Bread for Success, and then we have a kids club that runs on Wednesday nights.
Okay, and what are the times for those programs?
The Tuesday, Thursday usually starts around 3:30 and goes until about 6.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday it goes from 6 until 8 in
So
the
is there a
evening.
charge for this program? Or?
No, it's all free.
Oh, isn't that
Everything's
wonderful?
funded either through MCC, through our church constituencies. and through other donors. Just 2 or 3 months ago, the Sask egg producers donated a large sum so that we can continue programming for this year.
Okay, so how can people help you then? Do you need volunteers or?
We're always in need of volunteers. I would say that's the number one thing currently that we're looking to secure. And the thing with this sort of programming is that when it comes to volunteers, because it's so relationally based with the children, we really ask a lot of our volunteers, and longer term commitment volunteers are what we're looking for, to have folks come on a one-off basis. When you're working with kids, and especially with working with the children and youth that we work with that might have a lot of, especially adults, being more transient in their lives, we really look for people that are willing to commit for a longer term with them. But yeah, volunteers.
And so do you give them some training, or how?
Yeah, we have a whole orientation and training that they would take part in.
So how long would the training take in case people are interested?
Yeah, we would have a one-day orientation with them, and then the training would happen more on site. Yeah.
So do you have a website that people can contact you at, or?
People can always go to mcc.org, and then you can find the Canadian page and then the Saskatchewan page from there.
And I know MCC does a lot of good things in the world. So talk a little bit about MCC and the founding of MCC and their mission or their goals.
Yeah, the Mennonite Central Committee, it's been around almost for 100 years.
Is that right?
And 2020 will be our 100th year anniversary. And it started as an initiative to help Russian Mennonites during the famine in the early 1900s. And from there has grown to work in over 60 different countries in the areas of relief, development, and peace in the name of Christ. And it partners with over 500 different partner agencies, local agencies, the folks that are on the ground that know the context. And MCC will come alongside those partners and help in whichever assistance they need in that moment.
So people, if they need help from MCC, they just contact you, or they contact your organization, or how does it work?
Well, internationally works very different from locally. So our international programs would be more along that model. If there's an organization or a church that's looking to build capacity in their community, or if there's a drought, or if there's a disaster of some sort, then those organizations would come to MCC and would seek assistance.
So you're thinking like the Red Cross or some of the organizations like that come to MCC, or what organizations do they partner up with?
Yeah, well, we partner with, I'm not sure if we partner with like the Red Cross in particular, but we would partner with faith-based organizations. We would partner with different development organizations, some government, some non-government organizations internationally.
So, and then their mandate is to help any place they can, or?
Yeah. The mandate is to bring relief, development, and peace in the name of Christ.
So what about in Canada then? What are some of the things that MCC does in Canada? And specifically, we want to talk about Saskatchewan. I know you have this Bread for Success program, which sounds wonderful. What are some other projects that they work on here?
Yeah, MCC here in our province has 5 different programmatic areas. So we work with restorative justice, which is working with individuals who are maybe coming out of the justice system or working within the justice system to provide supports during the reintegration period. So that would be working with organizations like COSA and Person to Person, Micah Mission. And then we also have a refugee resettlement program, which works alongside churches and communities to privately sponsor refugees and help them within that first year of their new life in Canada.
So that's where kind of Bread for Success kind of is a continuation with refugees, or is it just open for anyone?
Bread for Success it's unique in that we work with both newcomers, refugees, immigrants, and Aboriginal, Indigenous, and
so
really anyone who lives in Meadow Green who wants to come can come, which is unique for that area, because some programs that work specifically with refugees, some work specifically with Indigenous children, but ours is open to to whomever would like to come. And then another area that we work with is Indigenous relations and reconciliation. And our Indigenous Neighbors Coordinator has been working with MCC for a very, very long time and has been dedicated to the work of reconciliation since the 70s, and has worked alongside a community in Laird and the young Chippewayan community, and has worked to bring solutions and build relationships and bring about some reconciliation, in specifically in the area of land
Development. And reinstatement.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. And I thank you for being on my show, because it's so important to have good things happening in Saskatchewan and Saskatoon. And I commend you for your wonderful projects. So is there a website or a phone number, or how can people help and volunteer and get a hold of you if they need to?
Yeah, well, they can always go to our Facebook page, Mennonite Central Committee Saskatchewan, and then through there they can leave a message, or they can call our office. The number is 306-665-2555, or they can email myself, or go to the mcc.org website.
Well, thank you again for your great work, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
That was Kaytee with Bread for Success.